Tuesday, the 9th of August 2022, and here in South Africa it is a bright sunny day. Looks like the winter is done. I've noted some weird things in my garden. Lots of the trees did not lose their leaves, all their leaves during the winter. We had, it appears to be a mild winter, and it was fairly wet, but the world goes on. And I'm starting off today with this one. Russia, Turkey sign economic roadmap, agree to trade in rubles. Ankara and Moscow have sealed the deal to boost cooperation according to President Erdogan. The Turkish leader said the agreement allows the two nations to trade in rubles, while Turkey is ready to be a platform for talks with Ukraine. Well, it's just another brick in a global reset wall, this, and it's an important brick. Many people look at it and don't see it for what it is, but things are changing. And then we get this: labels matter. A happy American can be seen as a confused lunatic in Japan. Satere Mawe boys must stick their hands in a glove woven with bullet ants and withstand the pain for over 10 minutes. Now, this is something that I have mentioned a few times. In this world where there are certain factions that are driving this racist agenda, and I have to fall back on what Viktor Orban said at CPAC, it is not a racist. There are cultural differences, and we need to take note of cultural differences. And then we get this one. And this is all part of this global revolution that I'm talking about. African nations are free to buy grain from Russia, but could face consequences if they buy Russian oil. The US threatens to punish African countries. Where the hell does the US get the right from to dictate to other countries where and what they may buy and with who they may trade? This nonsense really needs to stop, and I think it is picking up momentum. And another brick. Algeria has almost all the conditions for joining the BRICS. It's deeply interested in joining this organization, and that is according to the president of Algeria. And yes, another country that wants to move into the BRICS group. It is going to happen. My main question is the collective West, and especially America, how are they going to cope, to adapt to a new world where they no longer the supreme bully, but they are a good neighbor? And then there was this one on Twitter. Personally, I have compassion for the American people. They are no different to any other population that is exploited by corrupt leaders. American workers are armed and in a perfect position to one day revolt. If this happened, workers of the Western world could follow them. This is an important message, and we should pay attention to it. I was in a chat last night, and we were talking about the possibilities of a revolt in America, and there are a lot of different viewpoints. But what was interesting is that it seems like more and more Americans are beginning to realize that they will have to make a plan with this super race. They call them politicians. I call them a super race. And it is a problem. It is a problem that will have to be addressed in some way or the other, because it cannot carry on like this. There's a small elite group that is spoiling it for everybody. And then more from Russia and Turkey. Germany is a US puppet. Russia really wanted to make a gas hub for European Union from Germany. Both Nord Streams and Gazprom's investment in Germany's gas infrastructure were aimed precisely at achieving this goal. Instead, the gas hub had to be created in Turkey, because Ankara has political sovereignty and subjectivity in world politics. This is an important message to take note of. And I think that the Europeans are going to live to regret the actions they took around the Ukraine issue. And then we get to Lithuania. Lithuanian truckers suffer from the decision of Lithuanian banks to stop monetary transactions with Russia. When transporting industrial equipment from the port of Klaipėda to Kazakhstan, we are facing more and more problems, said the owner of a local company managing a fleet of 130 trucks. Carriers today do not see rational solutions for paying for fuel in Russia, using roads and other services. I don't know what is the issue with Lithuania, but as I said previously, that country only exists as an independent country because Russia allows it to exist. And then this following map. This is something that Europeans should take note of. It is quite disturbing if you look at that. And the tsunami of migrants that happened over the past years is important to take into consideration. This is where Europe is going. And then from Maria Zakharova. NATO got cornered by its own sanctions policy, declares intent to cut itself from Russian oil and gas, dubs Russia adversary and wants to suffocate the Russian economy while still buying Russian gas, at the same time claiming that Russia uses energy as a weapon. Did we, Mr. World? Now, I think there is a few translation issues here, but the fact of the matter is what she's saying is correct. I cannot understand why NATO still exists. And then this is this remark, and it was a response to a post about the breakup of the USSR. Let's not forget that Russia also paid off all the former USSR countries' debts, including $250 billion to Ukraine in reduced prices for natural resources. None of these countries have anything whatsoever to complain about. And yeah, there's a lot of truth in that, and it could be a topic of a Skidmark on its own. And this is just some information to give us an idea of what Russia really is. At 57,792 kilometers, Russian border is the world's longest. They have enough military to defend us and still beat largest army in Europe with full support of all EU and NATO countries. Please don't agitate Russia into a full-blown war. But the newcomers and the warmongers in the shithouse will not pay attention to this. And then we've got this message from Dmitry Medvedev. Russia and other Soviet republics, including Ukraine, suffered greatly from Nazism and fascism in World War II. We lost at least 27 million people. Nearly every family lost their loved ones. That's why we are extremely worried to see clear signs of fascism resurrection in neighboring Ukraine. But the West does not want to pay attention to this. The West is actually supporting Nazis financially and with military equipment. I don't know how they're going to explain this to their grandchildren. And now we're back in Taiwan. China's silence means that Taiwan is China and Americans better stay away from this place. The Pentagon cannot reach a Chinese military command. Against the backdrop of the crisis over Taiwan, the US military has repeatedly called colleagues in Beijing this week, but they did not pick up the phone. Politico writes, citing three sources. It is noted that the last time the parties contacted on July 7, US officials believe that China's silence is a short-sighted and reckless move that increase the risk of escalation. Yeah, I find it almost humorous that the Americans now say that China wants to escalate. They are the big instigators. And then we go to the United Kingdom. Brits should shorten their shower time by at least a minute to avoid water shortages, the Sunday Times reported, citing sources at water companies. I find this actually humorous. Look at this pathetic things. But they've got billions of pounds to pump into Ukraine instead of investing in their own countries, in their own infrastructure. But that is the story of Ukraine. And another thing from the UK. Pets at risk as broke Brits cut costs. Rising costs in the UK could have a worrying impact on the welfare of people's pets. One of the biggest animal charities in the country warned on Saturday. Speaking to Sky News, a spokesperson for the Royal Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, RSPCA, explained that as rising cost of living puts a strain on people's finances, there's concern that more and more pets will be abandoned. And you can read the rest if you want to. Look at that. It's pathetic. But they've got billions of pounds to pump into Ukraine. And then there's another article on this bathing and showering thing. Cold shower moment. Britons advised to spend less time in the shower. People in the UK have been told to reduce time in shower by a minute or more. Industry representatives have said that while the measure may be unpopular, the country faces a simple choice. Either spend £1 billion on new infrastructure or ask people to spend less time in the shower. And there is the key. Spend less on infrastructure. How long is this going to last? How long is the public going to accept this? I cannot understand the tolerance of the public. And still in the UK. Talk about the financial crisis. It's the bloody immigration crisis. That's worrying me. What's going through government's mind allowing thousands of unknown males to flood into the UK every week? Don't they realize they are creating a future time bomb of monumental proportions? And that is a good question, and I hear no answers from the UK government. But they want to stir up a fight with Russia, and in the meantime they can't keep migrants on rubber ducks from their own shores. And then we get to this what a fuck moment. And this is something that is sobering and disturbing and actually sad. Here you see the image. Before USA, after USA, Iraq, Libya, Yemen, Syria. I cannot find the words to explain my disgust. But this is how America exports democracy to other countries. And on that note, have a great day and please hit the like and the subscribe. I need your support. Thank you.